Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing a quick unboxing, well it might be somewhat quick unboxing of Phantom Epoch. This is a monster of a game. This game box is pretty big, so I'm excited to see what is inside of this. For those of you that don't know about Phantom Epoch, it is a dungeon crawler game set in a sci-fi universe with over 40 missions. It does have a persistent campaign where your characters will progress and even during the progression branch off into multiple, well I should say two different types of classes as they complete certain missions and objectives. Full disclosure, this is my Kickstarter pledge that I pledged for back when it was on Kickstarter. This is one of the games that I am super excited for in 2025, so let's dig into this. And if you're excited to see what is inside Phantom Epoch and also this extra race and class box that was part of the Kickstarter, then I need you to meet me at the table. Let's go ahead and dig into this box and see what we can see. Here we have all of our components inside of this box. Now this right here is already, I know what this is. This is for the Foreteller app. There is a Foreteller app for this game, so you don't have to read the narrative. The narrative is read for you through Foreteller. Foreteller is amazing. If you don't know who they are, please check them out. I will make sure to try to maybe put a link in the description if I'm smart enough and remember to do it. So we have all of our components here that we're going to dig into. We also have our rule book. We have our extras book that we stopped. We cannot see this now. I will say during this unboxing, I will not be showing off everything. If there is anything that does say stop, I will not be showing that off because this is a campaign game and I do not want to spoil it for anybody. There are two different mission books, and the cool thing about these mission books is they're going to be working simultaneously together. As you can see, putting them together makes this awesome picture here. I may show you the first mission in this because of course that is where we're going to start our campaign playthrough, but I'm not going to show too much more of the missions. I was slightly wrong about this. There is a Foreteller ad in here for Phantom Epoch, but this is not what this was. This is a $10 off coupon for the Pledge Manager in the future. If you go about doing these different things for this game, it'll help you in some of the future things, I think is what this is all about. Well, it says we'll provide the account associated with your email, a $10 credit to use on future purchases from this company. The first thing we have is this upgrade board. This is the upgrade board for our Phantom Epoch. And as we go through the game, we might meet certain milestones, and as we do, we can unlock these different areas of the ship that are going to provide different bonuses or provide different things for the upcoming missions that we're going to do. Do note that these do punch out. I'm not going to punch them out, and once they're punched out, if you do not remember to put them back in, if you decide to play again, it's okay. You can also follow the upgrade for the Phantom Epoch on an upgrade sheet as well as on this board to remind yourself what was discovered during your playthrough if you decide to play through a second time or with other people. Our next punch board shows our destroyed tokens and some of our different, what do they call them, hazard tokens. These are going to be the different things you're going to lay out on the map. You're going to want to avoid these if you can, or maybe as you can destroy them, you can put these down on top of certain areas of the map and be able to get through parts. But these are, that's what these are, and they are, of course, double-sided. The next punch board I have are our destroyed tokens and our hazard tokens, and they are double-sided, showing different types of hazard and, of course, the one type of destroyed token. Our next punch board shows a ton of adversaries. All of these up here are potential adversaries that we might meet during our combat throughout the game. These down here are the different condition tokens that you may receive as you play through it, depending on what different things the monsters can do. This is going to be our turn order tracker tokens right here. We do have open door tokens and damage tokens here. These are Nova Cell tokens. These Nova Cell tokens, I believe, are going to be how you're going to be able to use equipment and powers of weapons and things like that. You're going to have a certain amount of these that you can build up into a item or weapon, and then you can use those to fire them off. We also have orb tokens here, and these are going to be our bandage tokens up here. And like I said, they are all dual-sided, but they look like the same on both sides. So that is the next punch board. And coming on to our a very similar punch board here, again, all different types of adversaries. It is actually the exact same one, except for, of course, the round tokens are numbered numbered 5 through 8 instead of 1 through 4. It is the exact same one. Then we continue on. And again, we have pretty much the exact same thing, except now our Nova Cell tokens are going to be looking up as 3s. So you can have as you charge them up, you get 3 in there. You just replace it with this one. Again, double-sided, same on both sides. Our last one is going to be a very similar. Again, a bunch of adversaries. We have our bandage tokens, a lot of condition tokens. We can go up to 15 people on the board at one time. That's out of control. And up to 10 Nova Cells. That's absolutely awesome. Now, the interesting thing is, I know I kept saying this is the same, these are the same, but actually I kind of enjoy that because there's not a ton of tokens that I'm going to have to deal with. There's only a certain amount of condition tokens. There seems a lot of those, but the rest of these, all you're going to be able to, there's not a lot of different things I'm going to have out on the board. I can just one stack of these bandage tokens. Our Nova Cell tokens go in a certain spot. These will be all in certain areas too. And as you can see, game trades is going to help provide an ability for us to keep these all separated and know what to take out and where to put things. And they have that in the instruction booklet on how to put everything into all of these different game trays bins, which I think is pretty awesome. Now, as a person that does sleeve cards, I cannot guarantee that these bins are going to hold all of the cards. I do have a love-hate relationship with game trays. I think they are fantastic and hold a lot of things very well. The problem is, as you can tell, it takes a lot of space in the box, and sometimes space in a board game world in your house is a premium, and so sometimes these game tray boxes, for the amount of space they are able to save you and help you set the game up, they do take a lot of space on the shelves to be able to hold all of these inside of those boxes. But they do come with, I believe these are going to be 4 for the characters, and this is going to be the ones you're going to put all of your tokens in and things, and then this is going to hold a lot of the extra cards that you're going to see as we go through this. Now, of course, I'm not going to show off every card that I have here, but I will show you some of the base characters. I believe these are the advanced characters as they come through. So, for example, let's do this first. We've got the Ranger, the Rogue, the Warrior, and the Healer. And of course, as we play through the game and you unlock certain things, you can go down different paths. You could turn the advanced class into Commando, a Sharpshooter, a Spy, an Assassin, a Bodyguard, a Combat Medic, a Surgeon, and finally we have the Survivalist. So each class does have 2 different advanced classes that they could turn themselves into as they go through the game. Next we have these are going to be card holder, where you can put down cards onto these. There's 4 of them here that they're going to be used during the game. These are our sheets that are going to have all the different things we need to worry about. I cannot look at the workshop, apparently. That is a hold there. This is going to be for your character. You're going to put down, of course, your name, class, species, the Nova Cells you have, what campaign you're playing. Then you can have, depending on what missions you've completed, you'll check those off in what planets and things you visited. That you can check those off as well. This is going to be your main campaign tracker. This is for the campaign itself. These are for individuals. This is going to show all the different places that you've explored, and you're going to tick those off as you complete the different missions on these planets. I believe you're going to unlock certain things, and then of course we'll tell you where you've been in your campaign. Digging a little bit deeper onto the sheet, I do want to talk a little bit about it. You can put some notes here. I missed down here available and completed. So as you unlock different available missions through the game, you're going to check off the green, and then if they're completed, you're going to check off in the orange. There could be certain items that you could attempt to gain from these, and if you gain those and you are able to clear the mission, go ahead, check it off with a thing. But if not, you might want to come back to this mission at some point and try to gain all the different things that are there. This is fame. I missed this. This is fame. I didn't even see the word fame right there. So as you gain fame with these different factions or different planets, you're going to mark these bubbles. Now, it does recommend using pencil on this because, of course, these numbers, these could change as the game goes forward. Let's continue to dig into the box and see what else I can show. This looks like these could be, well, look at those. These are going to be the boss adversary boards. Before revealing, retrieve your required boss number from this side only. This is going to be the boss. Stop, do not reveal this from this side. Okay, so we're done with that, okay? Don't get to reveal that. Whoa, look at all these things. Okay, now, these are going to be cool. I can hardly wait to talk about those, but we're just going to grab all the cards out of here first. These we might be able to dig into. Again, I'm just kind of looking at some of these. We have Wild Beasts. Okay, this, again, we can maybe look at. This one we can't. This one says stop, so we'll put that one to the side. I'm going to guess all the ones that are like this are going to be stop ones. Nope, that was fake news. All right, we'll put those there. I'm sorting these into cards I can show and cards I can't. All right, I can show some of those. And this one says stop, so we'll put that one there. All right, let's see what else we have up here. I'm looking for, I think these are the race cards. Yes, I'm looking for the race cards. Let's see what else we have up here in this box. Let's see if we can get these out of here. They're kind of stuck in there. Okay, I have no idea what this is. Stop. I still don't know what that is. It says stop. We will look at these. All right, we have a lot of cool things. These we do not get to look at. These are going to be locked. It says do not open these, so we're going to put these aside. I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark that these are 2 different dice that eventually unlock for our characters. But as you can see, we already do have some custom dice here. These are our player characters. You can play this game with 2 to 4 players, or sorry, you can play a solo if you wish to by yourself. But when you do play solo, you do play with 2 players. Other than that, if you do play with multiple players, you do get a chance to you can play with up to 2 to 4 players. But when you do, you can't have multiple people be the same class. You can only have one of each type of class. These are the cool things I'm going to get to talk about here pretty soon. These are the way you're going to track health points on the board, and it's super good idea. So here we have the way you're going to track health points. This should be the new standard in all dungeon crawlers. This is absolutely amazing. So you get one of these. This all just comes apart. So that way it's totally reusable. So you're going to grab a dial that shows you the hit point value up to 10. There are ones that can track 10s as well. We'll put this guy, we put just one of these standees in there, put the enemy we're fighting in there, and we put it to the health value that it has. So say it has 5 health. And then when you hit it, you can just twist this down to 3, to 2, to 1, and then it just disappears off the board, right? I mean, it's so good. Now, of course, the players as well are going to use these to track health points, so everybody's going to be tracking them the same way. There's not going to be some magic spin dials that could get bumped and you could lose track of the numbers, but you just put the guys in there. They stay in there really well. I forgot to press them down. So you have your little arrow here showing how many hit points this character has. And like I said, there is a tens dial too, so you can put that there to keep track of the tens numbers as well. You just track down what they have, and then as you bring the enemies to 0, and hopefully not yourself to 0, you remove them from the map, and then they're gone. I mean, it's a fantastic system, and there's a ton of these dials. I mean, these are all the different ones for our standees, and then of course we are going to place them into these here. There's a whole bunch of these, so you can have a whole ton of these things on the map. And I think this is fantastic. I think this is a new gold standard going forward when it comes to tracking things in dungeon crawlers. And while I got him on his base, here's one of the miniatures. Here's what they look like. They're very well done. I appreciate the simplicity and but still having enough detail in these miniatures to make them seem unique and exciting to paint. So I will be trying to paint these up. We'll be doing live painting streams to paint up some of our characters that we're going to be using in our playthrough coming up. And of course, if you're interested in deciding what characters and races and classes we should play in Phantom Epoch, you could join our Patreon. The link is in the description of this video. The perk that they gain, a few of them, one of them is they do get to watch our playthroughs usually about a day or 2 ahead of time without commercial interruptions. On top of that, we do give them that way, allow them to help us decide what our characters do and evolve in our playthroughs. So for example, for Phantom Epoch, I will have our community decide what character, race, and classes we will be playing with as we start our campaign in Phantom Epoch. And as the game goes forward, I will be looking to my Patreon supporters again to decide what advanced classes we will be looking into for our characters going forward in the game. And if you're interested in helping make those decisions, yeah, you can join the Patreon. It's in the description. Before we dig into the cards, there are these 4 dice. I do want to talk about them for just a second. These are, first we have our 2 different attack dice. We have our accuracy die, and we have our decision die. These are different dice we're going to be using during the game. The first one is our attack dice. Let's talk about these. These are kind of cool. So when you make your attack, you get to choose which die you want to. There is a basic attack, and there is I think they call it a blitz attack die. The basic attack is going to have more numbers on it, and is going to have 1 critical symbol and 1 fumble symbol. Of course, the critical symbol is a 3 damage attack, no matter, or does 3, and then of course whatever any of the cards are doing. But it's going to be able to activate any criticals on any cards or weapons or abilities that you're using. On top of that, it's going to be able to pierce, which would remove any of the guard abilities that the enemy is using. The blitz die is going to have more chances of that critical, but it also has more chances of fumbles as well. Looks like 3 fumbles on this die and 2 criticals. So there is a better chance of fumbling, which when you fumble, of course, your attack will miss completely. On top of that, you are not going to be able to take any further attack actions, and it's going to be able to leave you off balance. I don't know if off balance is anything. I think it just means that you're not going to be able to make more attacks. On top of that, the value is actually treated as 0, of course, when you fumble. So that is those 2 dice. We have 2 dice left to talk about. That's this one. This is the accuracy die. This is cool. If you're not making a ranged attack, you do not need to use this die. But if you are making a ranged attack, you're going to roll this die, especially if it's going through something else. Like say it's going through you're trying to shoot something that's behind another person or something, let's say, or past a little bit of cover or something. You're going to roll the die. First off, we have miss. We don't like misses. We have successes. Yay, success. But this one, this is interesting. This is going to be a block die. And one thing it could do is it could redirect the attack to whatever it was passing through instead of hitting the thing you wanted to. And then we have our decision die, which is going to be used to, of course, make any type of decisions we're going to make in the game that have to do with moving enemies maybe, or any other decisions that have to do with like maybe events in on a map or something like that. You'll roll this die and then you'll determine which direction it's going to go. Now, before we dig into the cards, I do want to discuss the mission books. The mission books do say they kind of lay together like this on the table. So the interesting thing is the amount of space that this game is going to take up is going to be these 2 books, any of the trays around it that you're going to need. And as I do a playthrough of it, you'll see exactly kind of how big this is to set up. And for a dungeon crawler, it doesn't look that bad. Most dungeon crawlers you're seeing sprawling across an entire table. This one, I believe, is going to be condensed into these 2 books. Now, what I'm going to be showing you is the tutorial mission. So there is nothing that's going to be spoiled outside of that, which is the first mission you're going to play. And you do play it for your first mission. And it does say kind of, if you want to, you could skip the tutorial if you do play the game again with other characters, other players, other people, and just take the rewards from it and continue on, because it is really a tutorial on how to play the game. As you see, the books are going to flip up, and this up here does talk about how you're supposed to use both these books in tandem. And this one kind of gives you an idea of what you're going to be doing. It says that you're going to be doing a tutorial here, and this is a little blurb about the game. So then you're going to flip your next 2 pages up, and those are the tutorial mission here. It has your map. Now, the map normally sprawls usually across both books, but I don't want to show you the next mission, even though it does say down here it's going to unlock that particular mission, which is the next mission in the book, but I don't want to spoil that for anybody. And it does go through, this is unique because it is going to go through all the different parts, and it does tell you different places to be able to read to understand how to play the game. I think that's fantastic. It's an easy way to get you to start playing the game, but then after you play this mission, you can delve deeper into the rule book and fully understand kind of what to expect going forward. It talks about having a mission start up here. There, you can't see it off camera here, but there's an introduction about what you're going to be doing. And again, all these little things are going to telling you to reference the rule book so you can understand exactly kind of how the different elements on the board are going to work. Each mission is going to have an objective that you're going to have to meet. And then once you do that, you're going to get rewards and potentially unlock new missions that you can do. These books are highly cool. They're highly detailed. I love books like this. I mean, the amount of pages in this book is astronomical. So there are a lot of different unique missions that you're going to be able to play through in this game. All right, now let's take a look at some of those cards. The first set of cards we have are our race cards. There are 3, it looks like, that are in the core game. There's Human, Grellock, and Slink. They do have both genders in here as well that you can choose from. Now, it looks like there's 3, but this card is really unique. It looks like it is a card on top of a card, but I'm not going to rip into it. It might be something that you do during the game, or it's just that thick of a card. It's very unique. So these are the races. It does show that each race does have a certain starting hit point and action point number. They also have an ability, and both genders of the card have the same type of ability. So there are 2 different abilities. So certain gender or certain races may be better suited for certain classes, but of course you can always do whatever you want in these kind of games. Before we move on to the next set of cards, there are a couple of things I want to talk about. One are the Nova Cells. The Nova Cells not only help power up equipment and items and things of that nature, they are actually the currency in the game as well. And the other thing I want to make sure that I explain correctly are the bases that do the hit points of these. Since they're so unique, I want to explain, hopefully I'll do a little bit better job. Not only does it count down hit points when of course it goes to 0, the person's dead, but these white rings that I originally put under here, that indicates how many sets of 10 this enemy has. So you could actually have an enemy with like 26 health, and you just put 2 of these on and set this guy to 6, and now you got 26, or even 36, or 46, or 106. You can put as many of these things on as it tells you to based on the enemy you're fighting. And then, of course, every time you get poured towards that 10, you're just going to tick these off until the enemy has gotten back to its original ring. And then of course, you're going to go to 0, and the enemy will be dead, and you'll remove it from the board. I just wanted to make sure I cleared up a couple of those things, because this new system is really, really cool. The next set of cards we're going to talk about are the Adversary cards, and kind of what is going to be in store for you when you're moving into combat. So the first thing you're going to do is, of course, go through the setup and find the adversary you're going to be using. Say it's the Greylock Archer. This is the one from the very first mission. So again, not spoiling too much here. What it has here is the hit points, the attack value, the range value, and the guard value. These are extras that are going to be on top of anything that a card may add to it. It also has a critical ability as well, which will inflict the bleed condition. So you're going to take your enemies, then you're going to take a deck of cards. For example, Wolf, Timeless, Slink, Other. It has all different types of species that you're going to be fighting against. You're going to take the deck that has to do with that species. Then you're going to take your cards that have to do with the type of class that they are. Maybe a sentry, a scout, or a berserker, or an archer, right? You're going to take all of those, and then you're going to have a deck of those cards. Those are going to be placed. You could place them down onto these decks, this area here. You can put the person that you're fighting right here, and then the 2 different decks with discard piles on this tray if you wish to, or you can leave them out on the board and do it your own way, but that's what that is for. The next thing you're going to do is, when you move into combat, you're first going to have to figure out the initiative order of everybody on the board. Now, when it comes to the characters, it's going to be from their ability cards, and we'll look at those soon. But for the enemies, it's going to be the 2 cards that you're going to draw. You're going to draw one of these each turn. So like if you notice, there's a lot of wild beasts. So you're going to draw a wild beast card, and then you're going to also draw one of these that go with the species. So for example, this one is the one we draw. So we draw these 2 cards, and we're fighting this archer. Then you're going to look at the color of the base that they have that are going to have to do with their hit points here. So for example, say we're fighting an archer with that base. The initiative value would be the 2 numbers here added together, which would be 6. When this thing activates, you're going to activate it based on these 2 cards, starting with this one first, then moving over to this one. So this one will have, for example, guard 2. If an enemy is within the range start of the Slink's turn, retreat 2 at the end of the Slink's turn. So it's going to try to run away from us. This one is going to attack with -1 and then try to retreat 2 if I was that color. Now, say the next archer we activate is the red symbol. First off, they're going to have an 8, so they're going to go later in the round. But they're going to try to do a precise shot, which is going to be an attack with a pierce 3. And whenever an enemy rolls, it will always roll the normal combat die unless told otherwise. So that is how the enemies are going to activate during the game. I think there's a lot of really unique things going on with it, and adds a lot of variety to what each of these enemies are going to do on the board. It's not just going to be every archer is going to do the same thing. Archers are going to do different things based on the color of their ring, and not just the 2 cards that are drawn. I think that's really cool. I think this is a good time to move into how we'd be setting up a character. First off, we're going to be able to grab our player board. These are going to be head, torso, and feet armor or equipment that they can wear. You're also going to have your race card right here. So say we are a Slink, we're going to place that card in here, and it'll have those abilities that go with it. Then we're going to take any type of items and abilities that we have. So we're going to put this one down here because that's part of that ability here. We also have an item we can put here. You're able to carry 2 items into combat. Now, then you grab your deck. You're going to be able to bring in your deck. Now, if you notice, you have all these different things here. We have fast healing, we have invigorating, we have soothing balm, ready, rush to their aid. Now, of course, the character I've chosen to just demo here is going to be the healer. Rush to their aid, poise strike, an anatomical strike. We have all these different things. Now, if you notice, there's a number over here. This is, again, going to be the initiative value. And this person has an AP of 11 being a Slink, and there's nothing else that's augmenting that. I'm able to pick up to 11 points worth of characters. So I have 9, I can pick 9, 10, 11. I can take these 3 cards. These are the 3 cards we're going to do on our turn. But of course, the higher the number we have, the less chance we're going to have of going first. You have to decide, do I want to maybe only spend 6 AP to be able to go earlier in the round potentially, or even just 5 and use Invigorating Strike. There's also going to be cards back here where you're going to have to buy these cards to add into your deck as you move forward. Now, you're not going to have a deck that you draw from normally, you're going to have all the cards in your hand and be able to choose the cards you want. And of course, once you use them, they're going to be discarded into the discard area until you decide to rest. Then you can bring your cards back into your deck. There's also going to be cards in here that have temporary abilities and persistent abilities, and you're going to see them on the cards themselves. If I can find one, let's see if maybe doesn't have any there, persistent or temporary. The temporary ones work until it is your turn again, and the persistent ones will just continue working until the battle is over, or I think if I remember right. Of course, I have not played yet, so I might be telling not exactly the correct information, but I believe that's how it works. So there we have this, for example, will be one of our characters starting out. And then we also have a few more cards that we can look at. Like these item cards here, there are 3 different tiers of items. As you can see here, these are the that you can 1, 2, and 3 right here. There's all different types of these as you go through it. If you look at the back, it's going to give us some things. For example, here's something we can place on our head that we saw on our character board off to the side. It gives you some abilities of what it can do, and this is where you'd put any type of payment that you need to make to use this. If you put this, you'd have to slot in one of those cells, and then of course if you can spend that to activate what it does. Otherwise, if you don't have to activate it, that means it's always kind of going and you can do things. This is the cost if you wanted to buy it on its own. It's right there. It costs 4 if you decide to buy it, and each one of these do come from certain planets. So this one comes from this planet here. There are cards that come from this planet, and then of course there's cards that come from this planet. Of course, the reputation and that you have with these planets moving forward may augment even the price and what is available to purchase in the different planets. Of course, I could be wrong about that. I haven't played the game yet, but I foresee that being something that would happen. We also have enhancements moving forward in tier 3, 1, 2, and they're going to be able to help out on any of your abilities and items again that you have. We have broken attachment. That's no good. Adhesive grip, for example. If we have this grip, it says here when the character rolls a fumble, the fumble does not prevent performing subsequent attack action. So if we had picked 2 attacks and we rolled a fumble, we wouldn't have to worry about it. There's a lot of those. We have impact charge. Again, we'd have to spend this after the character performs an attack action. Inflict knockdown on the target of the attack. So you can use these if you wish to. Sharpened edge. I get to do a pierce 4 attack later. So these are just some of the different things you can use. Now, of course, if it shows over here, this is what I was looking for. They only are going to be used, some of these can only be used by specific types of classes. So, for example, the archer is the only one. This one could be for the melee class, and so on and so forth. There are some in here for the medic, and some are in here for the rogue, I'm sure, in here as well. Having to look through these, we'd probably find them. There's a medic one down here. So those are just some of the different types of enhancements that you can bring to the battle for your character. Sorry, attachments, not enhancements. These are attachment cards. Now, these, I believe, are training mission cards. We're not going to be able to look at too many of these until we get to that point in the game. It does say stop reading until a purple vent has been destroyed. Then we have expedition cards. These cards are going to be how you're going to gain potentially some items and reputation for the different planets. Between each mission, you're able to draw one of these, and then you'd go through and decide how you want to deal with it. It's going to give you a little thing here, and then you're going to pick A or B. This is going to be the group can decide. There are ones in here for just an individual. It might ask for a specific individual, and that person has to decide what to do. But there's 66 of these, so there are quite a few of these going forward. Some of these you will be removing, and some you'll keep in the deck and just shuffle back in. Now, on top of fighting adversaries, there's also an event deck that's going to be going on as well. So there's 2 different parts to the event deck. There's a 6+ and there's a 1 to 5. So when you fight, most of the time it's going to tell you to shuffle this up and draw 5 random cards from this, and then shuffle this deck up and put those 5 on top. And then, of course, after you get past round 5, the 6+ are going to start activating. For example, one of the 0 to 5s, Adrenaline Rush. All characters have +1 max AP for the round. That's great. You get an enhancement. Of course, some of them are going to be bad as well. So, for example, say we get to 6+, and we flip this one over, something is happening. You're going to have to deal with the mission event. So now there will be specific mission events that these cards will trigger. So just know that these events are going to take place during the game as well while you're playing through the fight. There's only a few more decks to go. This one is the boss activation. So when you draw a card, you're just going to activate the boss. It's do action 1, 2, and 3, for example. Or you're going to draw this one. It's just do action 2. So you just draw these cards and then perform the actions based on what's on the boss's player board. The last few cards here, we do have 3 rules reference cards that you can hand out to each player. They are double-sided and have the way the round flows, the player turns, the adversary's turn, the adversaries when they're defeated, what happens. And of course, it shows all the condition tokens and what they do to you. On the back here, it shows you what the hazards will do, and it also shows the player attack flow and a player defeat, what happens. And of course, there's 3 for each player that you have in the game. The rest of the cards I have are, of course, stopped. Do not read them, so I am not going to expose them. That's everything I'm able to show from the base game. Looking at the 2 extra things I've got in the pledge, we do have a new species and we have a new class. So first I thought we'd just quickly look at the species box here. This box will just have, of course, a character, some standees if you don't want to use the miniatures for the game, and we have their race card, or their species card, sorry, right here. And we'll just quickly, I don't have to do that, I can just take a look right here. This will have 14 hit points, 10 AP, and it has an ability here, of course, as well. When converting an action card to a move, you may use 2 movement points as a separate leap too. Something I didn't mention is when you do have your action cards, if you ever do get to a point where it becomes your turn and what you have is not going to help you in any way, you can forfeit what is on the card to use it as a move card based on the stamina cost of that card, or sorry, AP cost of the card, or you can sacrifice it for an attack 0 at range 1 if you want. So this one, for example, I could use as a move 2 if I wanted to, or a move 4 based on the card I have, the stamina or the action point cost of the card. All right, so that's all that's in the species box right here. That's a small little box. Next we have the class box. Again, probably gonna be a very small box that's just gonna have a few things. It has the Pyromancer character, which is our advanced class, the Flameborn, which is an advanced class, but then of course we have the Arsonist as our core class right here. We can quickly just look this up, but you saw what the healer one was, so this is going to be very similar to what those are. It's going to have the same board that flips out with our ability cards we can stick in here. Flicked burning if target is already burning, and flicked stunned instead. So everybody does have a fun little thing that they can do up here. He has an Inferno staff that has a range of 3. Something I didn't mention is these bandage slots down here. Once those are full, you can't be healed anymore. The character's class cards are going to be right here. And of course, as you go through the game, you can get more of them. Blast, attack 1. These are going to be, of course, a lot more attack cards than the other ones. Inflict blind on all, guard, pyromancy, arsons, we have kindle, and then of course we can buy these cards as we go through the game to gain more powerful cards. And it does come with a core item and a core ability that can use. Oh, it doesn't come with an item. It just comes with this Infernal Tender, which is something that we can put into there. It didn't come with an item. Really, it didn't come with an item? Interesting. All right, so that is our starter class called Arsonist. So there you have it. That is the unboxing of an all-in pledge for Phantom Epoch. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you know when more content for Phantom Epoch comes out. I am super pumped to get to this game. This was something, once it funded on Kickstarter, I have been watching, and I'm so excited to get a copy of this game. Of course, this is my pledge that I pledged for, so I'm pumped to be able to dig into this as soon as I get it. I'll get the rules learned and everything organized. And of course, if you're interested in playthroughs of this, Steve over at Co-op Guild, Derek over at Canje Studios, and Board Game Officer all did some playthroughs of this and reviews during the Kickstarter, so you can go check out their videos. Of course, there may be things that have changed as the game has progressed through the development process, but their playthroughs are available, and I'll make sure to put a link to them in the description of this video. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please feel free to join the Patreon. The link to that is in the description of this video. Those that have joined the Patreon are here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It means the world to me. If you're interested in what you get with the Patreon support, you're able to watch the videos usually a day or 2 ahead of time whenever Colin and I do playthroughs. Also, if you're interested in giving us ideas of how the game develops going forward, we will offer you choices. For example, this game, like I said earlier in the unboxing, we'll have you decide our species, our class, and then as we develop through it, you can even choose our advanced class. We'll be putting polls in the Patreon so you can check those out and give us some ideas of what to do. So there you have it. Thank you again so much for watching, and if you're excited to see what Colin and I have coming up, then I need you to meet me at the table.